Morning, everybody. So this is the newest project. We got this John Deere. I don't even know what it is. We got to wander over and look. I hadn't paid any attention. Makes no difference for what I'm doing. Looks like it used to say 225 CLC, maybe. So yeah, 225 CLC. So anyways, she was pretty whooped out up here. Bushings rattling around the end. It's got some other problems, like that hole there in the H-link lost its bushing. That's pretty sure a cast link, not a forging. I'll do a little experimenting, but these John Deere / Hitachis like to use cast iron ones. Not so hot for welding. So what I'll probably end up doing there is boring and sleeving that. And then the side links are really smoked. We got to check in the cost of new ones, see if it's cost effective to weld and bore those or not. But at any rate, I am setting up. I went ahead and knocked out the next set of bushings up. They were loose but not shot. So we're going to see if we can get this sucker lined up, set up, and rebored. So they've looked these up. They're way too much money to buy compared to what I was fixing for. We're going to weld and rebore that here on the boring mill. That's going to my shop. And this was running with no bushing at all. So it's going to come to my shop and get welded and bored also. So those parts are all boring mill parts. We'll get this, hopefully, unless we're running some snags, wrapped up today and then be back to my shop working probably the rest of the week on the rest of these parts. We won't be bored. So I don't know if this shows up in the camera very well. See that funny looking pattern in there? That is previous weld, and I would say from the look of it, definitely hand welding. So there is proof positive for my theory that she had been welded up. Yeah, you can see some more of it up in there. Get the angle right when you actually see it. Anyhow, yeah, you can start to see some of the pattern in there. So somebody hand welded this up and then bored it almost certainly without referencing that hole. I would say, taking into account the wear that it had on it, it was a good, I'd say pushed a good 1/8 of an inch out of square to the next hole up. The only reason they didn't break the H-link in this thing is because everything else probably got ignored last time and was so sloppy that it could just kind of wobble around and line up. But that's why, unless I get a hole that is just barely oversized and I'm convinced has never been touched, I very, very rarely will bore one without pulling this pin and lining up off from that hole. So anyway, we'll get her back the way she ought to be. So it's hard to tell now, it's such a mess in here, so much vermin, grease and stuff in the middle. But I've got 2 passes in that hole, other than a little touching up by hand here or there. That should be good. And now we're burning our way through on our first pass into this way. So anyway, making progress. Just about done with my initial roughing passes on this side. You can see, it's hard to get the good light, but I'm not quite clean enough on this back edge. That's where the wear was worse. So I'm going to have to reach in there and do a little bit of hand weld in a minute. But not looking too bad though. I'm glad to see all of that's out by the outside edge. I'm full cleanup everywhere down inside. Haven't started cutting the other side yet. This was the worst of the 2 sides. So looking pretty good. Hopefully we'll get this part wrapped up today so I can dig into those goodies. Alright, so you can see we're on our second to the last. We're on a finishing pass now, and I got a couple little spots that didn't clean up, but we don't care about them. Not worth chasing them. Pretty happy with that. Those are just spots where I didn't have quite enough filler, and when I hand touched it up, I missed. But at this point in the game, we're going to roll with it. All right. Well, we got her done. Hard to see. I did some air hosing in there, getting sand and grit that was in the middle out of there. But anyway, it's ready to get the bushings in, other than that I have to drill the grease passages through. and I forgot my extra long drill bits for that. So I'll swing back in here and do that, and then press those bushings and seals in and those bushings and seals, and then we'll be done with this one. I've got all the other parts loaded in the truck over here. We're gonna drag all these goodies back and go to work on these in the shop. All right, so I shot a bunch of video with the other camera and then cannot figure out where the heck I put it. So if I don't find that sometime soon, you'll miss the welding part of this, but it ain't anything that's rocket science. I welded the bores up, ground the faces off flat, and then tack welded these two dog bones together. So anyway, originally I was going to put them in that old shaper vise down there, and I got it all set up and then found out that the base clamp system on it wasn't holding and it would slip. So not cool. So I pulled it back off here and have set up with the old standby, which is a nice big 24-inch angle plate with some parallel blocks, and this will definitely get the job done. So getting ready to center up on it and start punching through these things. We're on the finish pass in here. I did some heavy hogging. You can see there's one of the chips from the first pass. I actually took all the major material out in 3 passes, and then I had a few spots that didn't clean up. I just touched up. Took a 20 thou pass, and now this should be finished pass. See how it looks after I pull out of here. Might be a few little voids here and there, but shouldn't be too bad after this. See how she looks. Not too shabby. I think we can live with that. Alright, now we gotta do the other. When I bored this end, I've got a 3-inch spindle. It was able to fit into here and reach far enough to machine that. Now though, this hole is under 3-inch and I need to be able to reach all the way through, so I just cheated and welded one of my cemented carbide tools on a piece of 1/2-inch cold rolled to extend this thing out and let me reach in far enough to get all the way through this plate. So getting set up to try a cut in there, we'll see how it goes. I took one cut by cheating and putting this kind of a tool and tipping it forward, but I was terrified it was going to shift, because if it shifted back it would make the tool cut bigger, and I thought I got to stop this. So we're going to try this trick out, see how this works for us. Well, it's working. Alright, now we're in there hogging some metal. Tool life is generally better overall if you take a bunch of material out at once and be done with it. It is not like the interrupted cut on a welded surface. If you get below the skin, it helps a lot. Starting to see some voids that aren't cleaned up here. We'll have to see how that comes out. Well, there she is, all bored out. Got to get it cleaned up yet and knock those dog bones apart. Just deburr it, cut my little tack welds and grind those up smooth, and this thing is ready to go back to the customer. So, and they're still hunting for that H-link, but that's their hassle. I think they're going to bring me one cylinder that needs the eye welded and bored on it too. So we'll be back at it tomorrow. Catch you guys next time.